Thank you. Thank you, Brian. It was very lovely. I'm going to get my club soda here. I need some lime because I was feeling crazy tonight. It's good to be here. Brian told me that this was a men's club, and I confused that with a gentleman's club. I've come to find out there are two different kinds of club. Gentlemen's club doesn't really have members at those clubs. Long story short, I'm going to be paying for my club sodas with singles. $1 bills. I have a lot of them. But it's very lovely to be here. I'm very happy. I'd go so far as to say that this is the bee's knees. By that I mean this is a very mediocre experience for me. Because bees, first of all, I don't think you would call that part of the bee's leg a knee. I don't see an entomologist saying, this is, here we have the thorax and the abdomen, and of course here's the bee's knee. And secondly, let's presuppose that bees do have knees. That's about as humdrum or unremarkable of a thing as I can imagine, are a bee's knees. If I were a bee, I would not be marching around going, look at these knees that I've got. I mean, it's not even the best part of the bee. I looked up their anatomy, and they have an organ called a honey sac, which is clearly the best part of the bee. Bees don't even make the top 5, I don't think. And so I just feel like the bee's knees should describe not something really excellent or wonderful, but it's something very mediocre. And while we're at it, why not use the flea's knees or the fly's thighs? We have the gnat's calf, perfectly good. We could go beyond insects into the cow's brows or the crow's toes. Why not? The bat's back. We could even go into vegetables, the pickle's nipples. That sounds perfectly good. Again, all unremarkable things. Something that would be positive would be the hawk's cock. Because hawks are awesome. And I don't see why their cocks wouldn't be. Something bad would be the bear's glare. Because if a bear happens to be glaring at you, that's usually a bad thing. Even in a zoo, it would be unsettling to have a bear glaring directly at me. So, for example, if your friend called you and said, hey man, today I got run over by a truck. And this is what my friends sound like, I don't know about you guys. I got run over by a truck and I lost control of my bowels. And I got fired because I went to work and they don't allow soiled, it was a store-bought uniform. I couldn't replace it. And then I could say to him, man, I'm so sorry, that's terrible. I mean, that's the bear's glare. Speaking of the bear's glare, I got stuck in traffic today. Anybody here not like traffic also? Yeah. Yeah. Surprising. It's coincidental. So many people also don't like traffic. So I'm stuck in traffic, and it's the bear's glare, and I'm looking around, and speaking of coincidences, I was looking at all these bumper stickers in front of me, and it was so strange because every single bumper sticker I saw said the same thing. It was just bizarre. Every one of them said, I would rather deface my own vehicle than keep my stupid opinion to myself. Some weird, Twilight Zone thing. But bumper stickers can be useful. I like, if I see a bumper sticker that says, dog is my co-pilot, I immediately pull over to the side of the road and let that car get a safe distance away from me, because they could go off the road at any second if a dog is indeed their co-pilot. All it takes is a squirrel to run across the road, or another dog to be in another car, or on the sidewalk, and if the dog is making 50% of the decisions, it's extremely dangerous, and I don't want to be part of that. Also, the design of a bumper sticker is very important. For example, I saw one that said, I love someone with autism. And I don't know why you needed to advertise that. Like, I don't know what kind of a person you would be if you didn't love someone because they had autism. You would be kind of a horrible human being. You might as well say, I enjoy breathing air, or I think that children shouldn't be murdered. It's like not really a credit to your name to say that in the first place, but the design was totally flawed because the words "someone with" were very small in comparison to the rest of the sticker. So from a distance, it appeared to say, "I heart autism," which is equally as terrible as not loving someone because they have autism. So in a likely scenario that you're far away, it could give people the wrong impression. My favorite bumper sticker says, "War is not the answer." And it's a good example of, I don't think that any bumper sticker in the history of mankind has ever swayed somebody's opinion or, created. I don't see the Secretary of Defense seeing a bumper sticker that says "War is not the answer" and having to pull over to the side of the road so they can have a teary epiphany. Oh my God, it's not the answer. I just don't see that ever happening. Secondly, I agree most of the time war is not the answer, but it does depend on the question. If the question happens to be, what was the late 1970s hit by Edwin Starr, which posed the question, what is it good for? And retorted, absolutely nothing. War is the answer to that question. So I have some parents. They're lovely individuals. I love them very much. But they're abstract artists, both of them. Both abstract artists. And I feel as though two artists is a little iffy. But two abstract artists, I feel, should not legally be allowed to breed with each other. Because you're going to get some sort of a flawed, even just physically, this emaciated looking, I look like a starving child. Very slender and scrappy looking guy. My chest and my fanny are both concave. You could eat Special K out of anyone that you choose. There's 4 total bowls here, or 4 bowls of total, if that's what you prefer, or Special K. Sometimes it can get to me. I'll be watching some documentary on a recovering meth addict, and he'll say, man, that's how he talked. Well, I got into recovery, and I weighed 140 pounds. And I'm watching it, and I'm saying, I'm about this gentleman's height, and I would have to swallow about 20 D batteries in order to weigh 140 pounds. And I don't do meth. Google thinks I do meth. It's constantly giving me ads for meth treatment on Facebook and Google, and I don't know what that, I guess it's taking a picture of me. It's like, this guy's got a problem. Sending it to their headquarters. So I'll constantly get people saying, well, you gotta eat. We gotta feed this guy. I'll go over for dinner, like, this guy needs to eat, like I'm about to die. I'm like, is that what this strange, gurgling, craving sensation I'm getting in my belly is? It's hunger, you say? Eat. I never thought of such an idea. It's novel to me, eating things. I eat things, it's just, I think my body is just like, no thanks. Just let that go through. I'm not going to absorb any nutrition or lipids or anything like that. It's my lipid joke. But back to my, Father's Day is coming up, and my father was in a psychedelic rock band in the 60s. And so, like most fathers do, he likes to tell me stories about it. He'd say, we used to roll joints in newspaper, trying to be the cool dad. He'd do this motion like this, like as if I wouldn't know what that looked like. And I'd be like, first of all, that would not burn evenly. You'd be inhaling terrible newspaper smoke. You might as well have rolled that marijuana up and thrown it directly in the garbage, because you just wasted it. Secondly, that's the craziest story that you have to tell me about being in a psychedelic rock band in the 60s? You were never, like, played a show wearing nothing but water wings while you're tripping on acid and heaving doll parts into the crowd? And say, no, 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 no. My father, by the way, sounds like a black comic doing an impression of a white person. So this is my impression of a black comic doing an impression of a white person. That is my father. And he's saying, no, 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 no. They would never give me any LSD. I was too crazy already. Which I had to say, you had much better friends than I did. My friends would just find pills under the couch, be like, here, Nimmer, take these. I don't know what they do, but let's try them out. And next thing I know, I'm running through a golf course collecting people's golf balls because I think that they're eagle eggs and I have to save the species. That day was the bear's glare. But his favorite story to tell me is that, he'd say, we were the first white band that they signed to Chess Records. They had a lot of jazz musicians and, African-American artists, but we were the first white band that they signed. To which I'd say, wow, that is just amazing. I mean, what a step forward for white people. I mean, the 60s was a difficult time for whites. They were just really being held down there, and you guys just broke that barrier and paved the way for lots of other white bands to play music, because that was not happening a lot either. So that's my time, you guys. I really appreciate you all being here. It was